Big Nintendo news this week as the company finally released substantial information about their upcoming new console, the Nintendo Switch. The Switch will release worldwide on March 3rd at a price of $299, which gets you the system, the docking station, and the Joy-Con controller. Put together, the Joy-Con functions like a regular controller, however, it can also be split off to function as tiny controllers for multiplayer. Along with working like a traditional gamepad, individual Joy-Cons also seem to function similarly to Wiimotes, with motion control and a new rumble system built in. For the system itself, Nintendo has confirmed that docking the Switch to its station for TV play will optimize the graphical power of the system. When in portable use, the Switch will throttle down in order to extend the battery life, which will range from 2 to 6 hours depending on the game. For portable multiplayer, update systems can be connected for wireless LAN play, which sounds like fun if you know 8 people with a Switch that can decide to play the same game. The hybrid console is getting more than just portability from its handheld lineage though. Finally catching up to 2007, Nintendo has also announced that the Switch will not be region locked. While Nintendo's handheld systems have never used regional lockouts, this will be a first for a home console to not be region locked. Nintendo also announced plans to establish a paid online service. While past Nintendo games have offered free online multiplayer, the Switch will apparently require a monthly fee to utilize online matchmaking and social features. The new service will also give subscribers access to a monthly retro game. However, unlike Sony's PlayStation Network, which gives subscribers a free game every month for as long as they are subscribed, Nintendo's service will establish a rotation of games that can only be played for 1 month at a time. Exact details about the network, particularly the pricing, were sparse, but Nintendo did say the network would be free to use when it starts this summer before transitioning to a paid service later this year. So Nintendo will have a couple months to impress people before asking for a subscription. For games, Nintendo is looking to recapture that Wii Sports magic with 1-2 Switch, a collection of mini-games utilizing the Joy-Con's controllers. On the more competitive side of things, Nintendo has a new IP, ARMS. The stylized fighting game will use the motion control capabilities of the Joy-Con for an arcade-like boxing game. And speaking of unconventional new Nintendo IPs, the Switch will also be getting Splatoon 2. The game looks largely identical to the Wii U original, with minor changes to accommodate the lack of a second screen. For more big-name characters, Mario will be getting a new open-world adventure title for Christmas, Super Mario Odyssey. The gimmick of this new game appears to be Mario's sentient hat, which can be thrown as a weapon or used as a temporary platform. It seems that Mario will travel to a wide variety of worlds on his Odyssey, the most unusual of which being a realistic city with realistically proportioned humans. Somehow this looks even more disconcerting than when Sonic did it in Sonic Adventure. And while it wasn't presented during the presentation, the Switch will also be receiving Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The new game looks to be a port of Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, including the Zelda and Animal Crossing DLC, but there are new characters in the roster as well. King Boo was previously seen in the Switch announcement video, and it seems that Splatoon Squid Kids will be entering the races, bringing a Splatoon-themed track with them. It also looks like the abysmal battle mode for the Wii U version will be getting a revamp. For smaller, more retro-themed titles, Sonic Mania will be getting a Switch release along with the 8-player Super Bomberman R, and in a surprise move from Capcom, Ultra Street Fighter 2. This updated port of Street Fighter 2 sports optional HD graphics, 2 kind of new characters with Evil Ryu and Violent Ken, and most interestingly, a co-op mode that lets 2 players fight against a single CPU opponent. Other games for the launch window include Xenoblade 2, a Fire Emblem-themed Dynasty Warriors game, Dragon Quest X and 11, a new Shin Megami Tensei, and a new RPG series from Square Enix, Project Octopath Traveler, topping Bravely Default for the strangest name in Square Enix's growing collection of games clearly inspired by Final Fantasy, but not Final Fantasy. And last but certainly not least, Nintendo confirmed that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild will be releasing alongside the Switch on March 3rd. But don't worry Wii U owners, unlike the Twilight Princess, which was delayed for the GameCube to give the Wii port a head start, the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild will release on the same day as the Switch version. As for the game itself, this epic new trailer doesn't show off any significant new gameplay features, but does dive into the story and world of the new Hyrule, showcasing a wide range of different characters Link will no doubt encounter on his journey. It also seems like the story is going to be more than just an afterthought, with the trailer teasing some pretty dramatic cutscenes which will be fully voice acted. Although it doesn't look like Link will be talking, the trailer alone features dialogue from the Dooku Tree, the mysterious old man, and Princess Zelda herself. And while we have the rest of the year to wait for new games, gamers have spent the last week speedrunning older games for charity again with the first of 2017's Games Done Quick Marathon. Raising money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation, the biannual event invites speedrunners from across the world to show off their skills for a week-long marathon of non-stop video games. 180 different games were beaten in a variety of ways, while the speedrunners broke a record of their own. The fundraiser reached the $1 million mark on Saturday morning and ended the event with a grand total of this number on the screen. Which means that, yes, Games Done Quick not only hit $2 million in donations for the first time, but that brings their total amount raised over the years to more than $10 million. Moving away from video games, in Star Wars news, Woody Harrelson has officially signed on for a part in 2018's Han Solo anthology film. No details yet on who Harrelson will be playing, but I'm putting my money on a drunk mentor character. And continuing the discussion from last week, LucasFilm also made an official statement about the possibility of a digital Carrie Fisher filling in for the actress following her untimely death. LucasFilm put the controversy to rest, stating that they have no plans to digitally recreate Fisher's performance. Meanwhile, hitting theaters this week, we have Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage. Although at this point I'm not sure what the difference between this franchise and the Fast and the Furious is supposed to be. If you want to see Vin Diesel doing crazy stunts while still not making more Riddick, then this movie is for you. Next up, we have Split. I guess now we know where David Haller gets his split personalities from. James McAvoy gets to stretch his acting muscles playing a couple dozen different personalities, all of which are apparently kidnappers. Of course, the biggest twist in this movie will be seeing if M. Night Shyamalan can finally reverse course on his career. Over on television, if you want to know what Jenna Coleman has been up to since leaving Doctor Who, the first season of Victoria starts this week on PBS. The 8-episode show premiered last August overseas, but will be making its US debut tonight. On Showtime, Homeland is back for its 6th season of political intrigue and social commentary. I would say, with the new administration coming in and tensions high, that there will no doubt be plenty of headlines to rip stories from, but the fact is that if any show tried pulling stories from the real world nowadays, they'd be laughed off the air for breaking suspension of disbelief. And if you need something a little less serious to distract yourself on the 20th, Voltron the Legendary Defender's 2nd season of sci-fi adventure will release on Netflix, so marathon away and hope the impeachment hearings are scheduled before you get to the end of the season. And in video games, this week on PC sees the release of Siegecraft Commander, a strange-looking strategy game based around building a network of walls and towers. It looks kind of confusing, but still kind of neat. For some co-op fun, Outbreak is a top-down survival game for 1 to 4 players that has you trying to escape a hospital filled with monsters and a surprising number of firearms. And our RPG Maker entry for this week is Unhappily Ever After, an open-world game of twisted fairy tales dealing with a range of issues that apparently only you can solve. Also, one of your party members is a cat. Meanwhile, on consoles, for fans of the Fate series, Fate X Stella, the Umbral Star, comes out on the PS4 and Vita this week, putting history's sexiest heroes in a Dynasty Warriors-style game. Finishing up with this week's CGBros video, Pirate Parts by Shabnam Shams, Megan Robinson, and Sarah Chantlin gives us a funny look at a pirate getting haunted by his own lost appendages. Why is he being haunted by his lost appendages? You'll just have to watch to the end to find out. And finally, this week's awesome video is the evolution of Final Fantasy by GameRanks, starting from its humble origins all the way to its current incarnation.
Final Fantasy IV has some serious credit to its name. And obviously the stories prior to this contain dramatic elements, but most of what people consider dramatic storytelling in modern games is on display in Final Fantasy IV. But the game itself was only about 1/4 of the script that had been written for it. The cartridges just couldn't hold the entire script, so unnecessary lines of dialogue was...
And that's everything for this week, so what do you think of the Nintendo Switch's lineup so far? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, pass this video around to your friends, and have a great week.